Yesterday I was on a walk and I was thinking to myself, how can I accumulate more results and deliver more value to my YouTube videos? Because I just edited a video and I was thinking to myself, this is not a video where I'm not really proud with the result that I've gotten from the video that I just performed. Not in views or not in anything else, but just my overall performance. And I was out on this walk and thinking to myself, how can these people be so successful and I'm not? I wasn't really jealous or I didn't really feel that particularly bad, but it was just a thought experiment of mine because I genuinely wanted to know what was setting me apart from all the other people and what could set somebody else apart. I just think it's a matter of suffering and also the time equation. Because I promise you that every single person who's accumulated something worth of value, something a skill level, money, status, whatever, fulfillment, authenticity, what these people have gotten through, it's always suffering. It's always a part where they feel a little bit lonely or they feel a little bit lost. And I want to touch on this today because I'm a little bit in a chapter right now where I don't really have accumulated as great results as earlier. I want you to understand this because a year ago I posted my first ever video and I actually watched that video today. I scrolled down all the way to the bottom of my YouTube channel and I clicked on the video and I see that it has gotten 97 views. I check another video that I just posted actually. It had gotten like 87 views. And I was thinking to myself, the value that I'm providing in this latest video, if I compare it to my first ever video, it's day and night difference. Because here I couldn't even properly get people to take action or to actually formulate the ideas inside of my mind into actionable steps. And here I'm actually able to speak relatively great. I wasn't particularly well spoken as many other people are, but I'm trying to level up my ability to speak and to give advice because I want to have a positive influence on the world. And now I'm going to speak a little bit about suffering and how you can actually overcome these barriers and what mental frameworks and action steps that I use currently to get through some of the tougher periods where you don't really feel like the results are there when you feel like it's necessary. So how do we actually go about doing this? First of all, you need to have mental strength. What do I mean by mental strength? It is your ability to pursue when things get hard, when life throws things at you. Your ability to take a setback and turn it into an opportunity and actually take action. And every single time that you're faced with a challenge, you take it and you reassemble it into an opportunity where you take action and you blossom and you elevate your own potential via action. And what is a few quick tips that you can utilize today to actually gain some mental strength? First of all, I want to touch on accountability. Accountability is your ability to stay true to the mission, to keep yourself accountable. You need to take responsibility and be accountable. How can you do this? First of all, I just want to say if you are the type of person who feels like they need a little bit of accountability, you feel this pain of how do I actually formulate a better version of myself and how can I just take in all of the learning lessons that people talk about and actually turn it into a step-by-step formula. I can help you with that with a link in the description. It's completely for free and I will help you sort this out. That's the first thing. The other thing that you can do is to set yourself some type of habit tracker or action tracker. This can be that every single time you do a great habit, you fill in a document where you write a 1 or you write a 2 and then you write a 3. You just continue with this process, or you have a habit tracker on your wall where every single time that you do a habit, you fill it in. If you don't do it, you leave it completely empty. And then when you see the days start to fill up of the month, and then when you have 30 days, you take it down, you review your results, and now you start a new 30-day period. And if this seems a little bit scary, as I described earlier, I can help you out with that as well. Because being courageous is very, very painful sometimes. And do this, and I promise you that you can start gaining mental strength. And another thing, a common misconception of the world is that discipline is working hard. Discipline is going to the gym. Discipline is going and studying, for example. No, it's not. Discipline is simply an act where you are doing something that you specifically didn't feel like doing. And what does that mean, very, very practically? If I don't feel like taking the pile of clothes that is laying on my bed right now and going in and filling my wardrobe and actually putting them in there, that's an act of discipline if I don't feel like doing it. And this is how you start to level up your mental strength, because you're gaining small steps and you're gaining XP and you're taking action skill. Because life is like a video game. You can level up, but it's on hardcore mode. It's on hardcore mode where this XP bar, if you're not continuing to level up, the skill level will go down again. So start living like it, start pursuing it, start embracing this challenge, this video game. When life gets hard, you've got to remind yourself that improvement is not linear. It is very, very unstable, and it takes time, and sometimes you go up and then you go down and then you shoot up and then you become stagnant, and then you realize why you were doing it in the first place, and then you decide again that this is what I'm going to do, and then you shoot up with your results. And I just want you to understand that the more you try to pursue this, the better you will become at this. Because mental strength is all about leveling up where you are currently and having the humility to admit that I am not where I want to be right now, but that's fine as long as I try to level up. That's the first two things that you can do today to increase your mental strength and bear through the suffering nobly. The other thing is a mindset thing. How do we choose to suffer? Because there are two types of suffering. There is suffering right now in the present moment. For example, you go for a run, you study when you don't feel like studying, you pick up the pile of clothes, you pick up the water bottle that have been standing on your desk for a week. That is suffering right now that will lead to fulfillment and happiness in the long run, because you are actually pursuing stuff that you know is good for you and that is going to improve your life in the long run. And then you have suffering in the short term, or suffering in the long term, I do mean. It's when you don't do these things. It's when you slack on your habits. It's when you choose to eat the junk food. It's when you choose to binge watch Netflix, or when you doom scroll. I have fallen for this trap so many times, and this comes from my own personal experience and my own personal mistakes. The suffering where you choose suffering right now, in a weird way it feels better than the immediate gratification that you gain from the things that actually make your life worse in the long run. Because if I would quantify or define the word fun or happiness or fulfillment, it would simply be when you are older or in the future, when you look back at the time period that you are currently, would you recognize that you had fun? If you were wasting a lot of time, if you were not living to your potential, but you say that I'm having fun, I'm just enjoying myself, and in the future you will live with regret on this current lifestyle, I would not recognize that as fun, just because fun it needs to be sustainable. And the only way that I found fun is being sustainable is through suffering. When I voluntarily put myself through some effort and some sacrifice and some hardship. So understand this, that either you will live with the regret of actually working hard, or you will live with the pain of doing the hard stuff right now. And this is how I tried to fall in love with the grind. You specifically choose to suffer. You specifically choose to do stuff that necessarily don't mean that you're going to have fun in the moment, but is going to lead towards more fun. Because for me, the most fun periods that I do have are the periods of some sacrifice and some suffering. Because another thing that I want to talk about is sacrifice. Because what are you willing to sacrifice to accomplish your goal or a certain result? If I were to ask you today, what would you right now sacrifice to become a millionaire? Perhaps somebody would say, I wouldn't really want to sacrifice anything because that's not on my bucket list, or I don't really want to attain that right now. That's completely fine. As long as you define what you are willing to sacrifice. And truthfully, if you are not really willing to sacrifice anything right now, then you are happy with where you are currently. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that intrinsically. It's just a metaphor that you have to understand. If you want to become a new version of yourself or improve yourself, you've got to sacrifice some of the habits and some of the things that you're doing currently to actually become a better version of yourself. Because for me, I sacrificed video games. Sometimes I sacrificed trying to level up my social skills or hang out with friends because I wanted to stay in and video edit some history like YouTube videos. But sometimes you need to understand that you have to make a decision what you want to sacrifice. Right now, the sacrifice right now for me can be that I don't really get that many results, but I still go out and pursue it every single day just because I've chose that this is going to be my own sacrifice. And life is about sacrifice to a degree. Because if you don't really sacrifice for what you want will become the sacrifice. Because there are other people who are sacrificing things to get a certain result, and they will get it, but they won't have the thing that you are not willing to sacrifice. And to understand what you're willing to sacrifice needs to come from a lot of introspecting and also a lot of deep thinking, journaling, and understanding oneself. Because if you don't understand yourself, you won't be able to make a logical decision based on your moral beliefs. And this is how I personally have made the decision to be courageous and try to actually pursue stuff that is hard. I do slip up a lot of the times, I'm going to be honest with you. But in the end, it's your intention, it's your intuition. When you look and when you zoom out and you look at the year that has passed and you look at your progress that you've made, that's the thing that matters. Not the external results or the reward of something. But it's not about these things. What life is about is your ability to persist when things get hard. And that's all I have to say. These are some tools that I've utilized today and a few mental frameworks that I've utilized to actually bear through the suffering nobly. I really do hope that you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.